The underestimated. The Grand Galactic Convention was the most sophisticated collection of species in the known universe. Crystalline beings from the Andromeda sector floated alongside methane-breathing Calurians, their translucent limbs shimmering under the artificial lights. Hulking Draconian warriors with their scaled armor stood guard at each entrance, eyes constantly scanning for threats. In the center of it all, the High Council chambers glowed with the power of 100 different technologies. And there, in the middle of this convergence of power, stood a human. Cadet Maya Chen looked painfully ordinary. Her regulation gray uniform hung slightly loose on her frame. No ceremonial markings adorned her shoulders, no battle scars visible on her exposed skin. Her dark hair was pulled back in a simple knot, and her eyes, a deep brown, betrayed nothing of what lay behind them. At just 23 Earth years, she was considered barely more than a child by most galactic standards. A ripple of laughter spread through the chamber as she stepped forward to present her credentials. A human. This is Earth's representative. The voice belonged to General Kurtox of the Orion Military Alliance, his 6 eyes blinking in rapid succession. I thought they would at least send someone with combat experience. Maya's expression remained neutral as the translator implant in her ear conveyed his words. She had been warned about this. Humans were the newest members of the Galactic Alliance, having discovered faster-than-light travel only 30 years prior. In those 3 decades, humanity had been relegated to the roles of diplomats, merchants, and occasionally entertainment. Never warriors, never leaders. Cadet Chen is here on behalf of Earth's Special Operations Division, announced the chamber's eye in a melodic voice. She will participate in the final trials at the Academy as Earth's nominated candidate. Another wave of muffled amusement swept through the chamber. The Academy was the galaxy's premier military training institution. Most species sent their finest warriors, veterans of a dozen campaigns. Sending a cadet was either a grave insult or a sign of Earth's complete misunderstanding of galactic politics. Commander Zarvex, the 7-foot-tall reptilian head of the Academy, stepped forward. His ceremonial armor gleamed with the markings of 50 successful campaigns. "Does Earth mock us?" he asked, voice low and dangerous. "The Academy trials are not for untested youths. They are a measure of a species' military prowess and tactical genius." Maya cleared her throat. When she spoke, her voice was steady, unremarkable. "Earth does not mock you, Commander. I am here to learn and to participate." "Learn?" Zarvex laughed, a sound like grinding metal. The last learner we had left in 3 pieces. The chamber erupted in laughter again. Maya simply nodded. "I understand the risks, Commander." High Counselor Tela, an ancient being of pure energy contained within a humanoid form, raised a glowing hand for silence. "It is Earth's right to send whomever they choose. The trials begin tomorrow. Cadet Chen will be accommodated as all candidates are." As Maya was escorted to her quarters in the Academy, whispers followed her. Some pitied the human government for their foolishness. Others speculated that humans must be far more dispensable than previously thought. The Academy was built into the side of a mountain on Proxima Centauri, a neutral territory. Its training facilities were legendary, gravity chambers that could simulate everything from 0G to crushing pressure, holographic combat rooms that could recreate any battlefield in the galaxy, and living quarters adapted to support over 200 different biological needs. Maya's first days were spent in observation. The other candidates, 43 beings from 27 different species, trained in the central arena. They showcased abilities that seemed impossible. Praetorian warriors who could become temporarily incorporeal, Thalkai monks who could manipulate kinetic energy with their minds, and Duran berserkers whose strength multiplied with every injury they sustained. Maya trained alone. In the early hours when the facilities were empty, she requested simple programs, basic combat scenarios, tactical simulations that seemed primitive compared to what the others used. The Academy instructors assigned to monitor her progress reported back with amusement. The human runs the same simulation each day, one said during a staff meeting. A simple evasion protocol. No weapons, no advanced tactics. Perhaps they sent us a diplomat, not a warrior, another suggested. Commander Zarvex was less amused. Or perhaps there is something we're not seeing. Observe her closely. But there was little to observe. Maya ate alone, studied in her quarters, and ran her simple simulations. When forced to interact with the other candidates during mandatory assessments, she performed adequately but unremarkably. Her scores placed her firmly at the bottom of the rankings. 3 weeks into the training period, the announcement came. The final trial will commence in 3 days, the Academy AI announced at breakfast. One-on-one combat against a senior instructor. Victory conditions: incapacitation or surrender. The candidates buzzed with excitement. This was what they had trained for, a chance to showcase their species' superiority in combat, to bring honor to their planets. The human will face Commander Zarvex. The AI continued. The dining hall fell silent. Then came the laughter, louder than ever before. Zarvex was the Academy's most decorated warrior. In 30 years, no candidate had ever managed to force his surrender. Incapacitation was considered impossible. Many candidates had been seriously injured trying. Maya showed no reaction. She finished her meal, cleaned her tray, and headed to the training facilities. That night, as she ran her usual simulation, something changed. Instead of the evasion protocol, she requested a specific program. Historical combat data, Commander Zarvex, all available footage, display only. For 6 hours, she watched every match, every training session, every combat technique the commander had ever used within Academy walls. She made no notes. She ran no practice counters. She simply watched, her eyes tracking each movement with scientific precision. On the morning of the trial, the Academy's great arena was filled to capacity. Dignitaries from across the galaxy had come to witness the traditional spectacle. The trials were not just entertainment. They often determined military alliances, trade agreements, and political standings for years to come. Maya entered wearing the standard gray combat suit provided to all candidates. No weapons, no tech enhancements, no ceremonial armor. Her hair was still in its simple knot. She looked like someone who had wandered into the wrong room. Commander Zarvex entered from the opposite side, resplendent in battle armor that showcased his 60 campaigns. His ceremonial blade, a weapon that had tasted the blood of 100 different species, hung at his side. He would not need to use it today. This would be a lesson in humility for Earth. This combat trial will determine Earth's standing in the military rankings of the Galactic Alliance, announced the AI. Standard rules apply. The match ends upon surrender or incapacitation. Medical intervention is available within 5 seconds of a critical injury. The commander stared down at the human, who looked absurdly small in comparison. "I will try not to damage you too severely," he said, his translator conveying the words with precise clarity. "Your species is still new to our ways." Maya nodded once. "Thank you for your consideration, Commander." More laughter rippled through the crowd. Even the High Council members looked amused. Everyone knew what was about to happen. The only question was how quickly the human would surrender. Combat begins in 3, 2, 1. Engage. The commander moved with the liquid grace of a predator born to kill. His first strike was deliberately slow, a courtesy to allow the human to at least attempt a defense. But Maya wasn't there. She had shifted, just slightly, just enough. The commander's strike met air. He recalibrated instantly, his second attack coming faster, from a different angle. Again, Maya moved, not quickly, not dramatically, just efficiently, as if she had known exactly where the strike would land before it began. The crowd's amusement began to fade, replaced by curiosity. For 3 minutes, the pattern continued. The commander attacked, each strike faster, each combination more complex, and Maya evaded. She never counterattacked. She never ran. She simply wasn't where the blows landed. "Fight back," the commander growled, his professional courtesy eroding with each failed attack. Maya said nothing. Her breathing remained steady, her movements economical. Her eyes never left the commander, tracking something only she could see. 5 minutes in, frustration got the better of the commander. He activated his armor's enhancement fields, a violation of protocol for a trial against a lower-ranked opponent. Energy crackled along his scales, doubling his already formidable speed. In the observation box, the High Council leaned forward. This was unexpected. 7 minutes after the trial began, Maya Chen finally moved to attack. The revelation. 7 minutes after the trial began, Maya Chen finally moved to attack. It wasn't dramatic. There was no battle cry, no sudden display of hidden weaponry. She simply stepped forward, directly into the commander's attack pattern, and placed 2 fingers against a scale junction at his left shoulder. Zarvex froze. His left arm went completely limp. The silence in the arena was absolute. "What?" he began, but Maya was already moving again. Another touch, this time to a nerve cluster at the base of his spine. His right leg buckled. The commander roared, activating his armor's emergency protocols. A burst of energy exploded outward, designed to repel any attacker within a 3-meter radius. Maya should have been thrown across the arena. Instead, she pivoted at the exact moment the energy wave began to form, stepping into its single blind spot, a tiny area directly beneath the commander's right arm, where the field generators couldn't quite overlap. "Impossible," whispered a Thalkay observer in the High Council box. No one could calculate that positioning in real time. But Maya had. Another touch, this time to the commander's neck, right between 2 armored plates. His eyes widened in shock as his neural system misfired, sending contradictory signals to his limbs. "Yield," Maya said quietly. It wasn't a demand. It sounded almost like concern. The commander's pride wouldn't allow it. With a roar, he activated his final combat protocol, a berserker mode that bypassed safety limiters, allowing him to fight through any pain, any injury. His eyes glowed red as combat drugs flooded his system. He lashed out with his still-functioning arm, catching Maya across the chest. The blow would have killed most beings in the arena. Maya was thrown 10 feet, landing hard on the arena floor. The crowd surged to their feet. This was the end, then. Except it wasn't. Maya rose slowly, a small trickle of blood at the corner of her mouth. She straightened her combat suit calmly, as if she'd merely tripped. Then she looked directly at the commander. 7 minutes, she said, her voice carrying in the silent arena. "That's how long it took me to map your neural pathways, identify your armor's field generation patterns, and calculate your drug response times." She wasn't speaking to the commander anymore. Her eyes were on the High Council. "Humans don't have superior strength or speed. We don't have natural weapons or armor. What we have is pattern recognition, adaptation, the ability to observe, process, and predict at speeds that appear impossible to other species." The commander charged again, his movements erratic and unpredictable under the influence of the combat drugs. This time, Maya didn't evade. She stepped into his attack pattern, her movements precise and methodical. Each touch she landed corresponded to a neural junction, a weak point in his armor, a countermeasure to his enhanced state. In the High Council box, frantic analysis was underway. "She's using his own neural signals against him," said a Praetorian scientist, eyes wide with disbelief. "She's somehow reading the electrical impulses before they trigger muscle response." "Impossible," countered a Duran general. "No species can process information that quickly." But the evidence was playing out before them. With each passing second, the commander's movements became more erratic, less controlled. Maya wasn't fighting him. She was reprogramming him, using his own body's signals against him. Precisely 9 minutes and 37 seconds after the trial began, Commander Zarvex, the most decorated warrior in Academy history, collapsed to his knees, his neural system in complete disarray. His armor, responding to the contradictory signals from his body, began to power down in emergency shutdown. "I yield," he managed through gritted teeth. The words echoed through the stunned arena. No one moved. No one spoke. Maya knelt beside the fallen commander, her movements gentle now. She pressed 2 fingers to a specific point on his neck, and the pain in his expression immediately eased. "Neural reset," she explained quietly. "The effects are temporary. You'll recover fully within an hour." High Counselor Tella floated down from the observation box, her energy form pulsing with agitation. "What is this?" she demanded. "What has Earth sent us?" Maya stood, facing the ancient being without fear. "I am exactly what I claim to be. A cadet. A learner. No cadet could do what you just did," the commander said, his voice steadier now as Maya's neural reset took effect. "No warrior I've ever encountered could read combat patterns with such precision." Maya looked around the arena, at the representatives of dozens of species who had laughed at her, dismissed her, underestimated her. "You've all misunderstood humans," she said simply. "You saw our lack of natural weapons as weakness, our shorter lifespans as limitation, our emotional responses as vulnerability." She gestured to the commander. "I didn't need to train to fight him. I only needed to observe. Every living being, every piece of technology, operates on patterns. Humans evolved to recognize those patterns faster than any species you've encountered. It's not a weapon or a special ability. It's just how our brains work." The implications rippled through the arena like a shockwave. If one untrained human cadet could defeat the Academy's greatest warrior through observation alone, what could an army of trained human specialists do? General Kurtox pushed forward. "This was your plan all along. This demonstration." Maya nodded. "Earth has been at war for its entire history. Not with external threats, but with ourselves. We evolved in constant competition, constant adaptation. When we joined the Galactic Alliance, you assigned us roles as diplomats and traders because you thought we had no military value." "And now?" asked the High Counselor. "Now you understand why we're dangerous," Maya said, "and why you want us as allies, not enemies." 3 hours later, Maya stood in a secure chamber deep within the High Council building. The walls were made of energy-dampening materials designed to prevent any form of surveillance. Only 5 beings were present, the highest-ranking members of the Galactic Defense Committee. "Explain again," demanded Admiral Jorkan of the Centauri Fleet. "How did you know the commander's neural pathways without prior study of his species anatomy?" Maya's formal demeanor had vanished. She stood confidently now, a different person entirely from the meek cadet they'd first encountered. "I didn't need to study his anatomy specifically. Neural systems follow universal principles. Electrical signals travel along predictable pathways. By observing his movements for 3 weeks, I built a complete model of his nervous system in my mind." "Impossible," the Admiral insisted. "For your species, perhaps," said a new voice. The door had opened to admit an older human man in a simple black uniform. No decorations, no rank insignia, just a small pin showing Earth's blue sphere. "Director Chen," Maya acknowledged with a nod. "Director." The Admiral looked between them. "You are related to this cadet." "Maya is my daughter," the director confirmed, "and one of our most gifted neurological analysts. She was specifically chosen for this demonstration." "Demonstration," hissed General Kurtox. "You used our sacred trials as a political statement." "We used your trials exactly as they were intended," the director countered calmly, "to demonstrate military capability and establish standing within the Alliance. For 3 years, you've dismissed Earth as a minor player because we lacked the physical advantages of other species. Today, we corrected that misperception." High Counselor Tella's energy form pulsed with what might have been anger or respect. It was difficult to tell with her species. "The implications are disturbing," she said finally. "If all humans possess even a fraction of this capability, Not all, Maya interjected. Just as not all Praetorians can phase through matter with equal skill. But our neural processing is, on average, faster than any species in the Alliance. Our pattern recognition abilities evolved over millions of years of predator-prey relationships. We come in peace, Director Chen added, a hint of humor in his voice. But we want our place at the table to reflect our actual capabilities, not your assumptions about us. Admiral Jorkan leaned forward. And if we were to see this capability as a threat, if we decided that humans were too dangerous to be full members of the Alliance? The director smiled. It wasn't a pleasant expression. Then we would be very disappointed, he said softly. Particularly since Maya has spent the last 3 weeks in your most secure military facility, observing every weakness, every vulnerability, every pattern in your defenses. The silence that followed was deafening. Is that a threat, Director? General Kurtox asked, his 6 eyes narrowing. Not at all. It's a reminder that we could have chosen a very different path. Instead, we've demonstrated our capabilities openly and honestly. We want partnership, not dominance. Maya stepped forward. The combat trial was never about defeating Commander Zarvex. It was about showing you that humans are not what you thought we were, and that your assumptions about strength and weakness need revision. High Counselor Tella floated closer, her energy form shifting to a calmer blue. What does Earth want, then? What is the purpose of this revelation? Equal standing in the Defense Committee, Director Chen said immediately. Access to threat assessments from the Outer Rim, and the opportunity to assign human analysts to each of your key military installations. Observers, you mean? Admiral Jorkan said darkly. Allies, Maya corrected. Earth's borders are your borders now. Our security depends on collective defense, but we can't contribute if you keep us in the dark. The 5 committee members exchanged glances, communicating in the silent language of longtime colleagues. We will need to consult with our governments, the High Counselor said finally. Of course, Director Chen agreed. In the meantime, Maya will receive Earth's official appointment to the Academy teaching staff. The commander has already approved it. General Kurtox's eyes widened in surprise. Zarvex agreed to this. After being defeated, Maya smiled for the first time since the trial. The commander is a true warrior. He values capability above pride. 1 month later, the Academy grounds were transformed. Where once humans had been rare curiosities, now they were sought-after training partners. Maya's combat class, neural pattern recognition and response, had a waiting list 300 names long. Commander Zarvex, fully recovered and revitalized by the challenge to his previously unquestioned supremacy, had become Maya's most enthusiastic advocate. They could often be seen sparring in the early mornings, the commander's brute strength and centuries of experience, matched against Maya's uncanny predictive abilities. In the High Council chambers, Earth now held a permanent seat on the Defense Committee. The initial fear had given way to a cautious respect. Other species began to look at humans differently, not as frail, emotional creatures to be protected, but as allies with unique and valuable skills. Director Chen stood at the observation window of the Academy's main training hall, watching as Maya demonstrated a neural disruption technique to a class of senior instructors. Was it worth it? Asked High Counselor Tella, appearing beside him in her energy form. Revealing your species' capabilities so dramatically. The director considered the question seriously. The alternative was worse, he said finally. You were underestimating us, which meant you were making strategic decisions without accurate information. In the long run, that would have endangered everyone, us included. And now, the counselor pressed. Director Chen smiled as he watched his daughter calmly redirect an attack from a being 3 times her size, using nothing but precise pressure and perfect timing. Now we all see each other clearly, he said. And that's the only foundation on which lasting peace can be built. Below them, the class ended. Maya looked up at the observation window, her expression serene but knowing. In just 7 minutes, she had changed the course of galactic history. not with weapons or threats, but with the uniquely human ability to observe, adapt, and redefine the rules of engagement. The laughter had stopped. The war, a war of misperception that could have turned deadly, was over before it truly began. And in its place, something new had started.